Hi, this is Lisa McManus from America's Test Kitchen Gearheads. I'm here to answer some of the great questions that you raised after our recent episode on choosing the right skillets. So let's get started. Okay, I wish ATK would address pans and cooking on ceramic cooktops. I don't like it, but I don't have a choice. It requires finesse that is not needed on gas or electric. Yeah, there's a sort of a ceramic glass that's on radiant electric cooktops and also induction. And the thing to know about that glass is that it's a little bit fragile. So if you've got a cast iron pan, you can use it. It will work on induction, and you can use it on a glass cooktop. But what you need to know is you can't drag things across it and you can't plunk down a heavy pan on it. So you just want to be a little bit cognizant that it is fragile. A scratch won't really make it not work, but it's not pretty, and then you got to live with that. The other thing that happens is that you want a very flat pan. Any kind of warping, it will make full contact with that ceramic and the ceramic glass, and you will get different heating hotspots. Give your pan more time to heat up. You want the pan itself to start getting hot. You want the heat to conduct through the metal. So give yourself like on a slightly lower temperature. Don't put it straight on a screaming hot temperature and start cooking. You're going to get hot spots. Put your pan down, add your oil, and let it heat on medium for 4 or 5 minutes before you add any food. And you might even want to tilt the pan a little bit and mix that hot oil around. And that the heat that is conducted through the oil and the pan itself, the heat will spread and even out a little bit in the pan before you drop the food. And that's going to help. I hope that's helpful. Let's see what else we have. People wanted to know the make and model of the gas portable burner I'm using. That is not one that we've ever tested specifically, although we are planning to do that. It's one I have that I use for hot pots and stuff at home. It's by Iwatani and it's available on Amazon. You have to have a little butane canister. There's some trickiness in storing those. You got to worry about ventilation a little bit. Read all the instructions if you're going to go that route. I store those gas canisters outside and bring them in just for the videos and take them back out again because they're a little bit volatile. Next season we are going to talk about portable burners, so stay tuned. Okay, the recommended nonstick pan, which is by OXO, doesn't work in induction. Do you guys have a nonstick pick for that cooking system? Yes. On induction, our next 3 recommended pans in our story all work on induction. One is All-Clad stainless 12-inch nonstick fry pan. It's a little expensive. We have a much more affordable choice in the Tefal Professional nonstick fry pan. That one works on induction. It's a great pan. Made In has a stainless steel nonstick frying pan that works on induction. And also Meeson, we like their 12-inch nonstick skillet. Question regarding cast iron. Would it make sense to buy a Lodge pan and then polish its interior smooth myself? Is it worth the effort? I looked into that. When I recently tested a whole bunch of cast iron skillets, both ones that were polished and ones that were rough, we did notice the smoother polished ones release food more quickly and easily than ones that are really a rough surface. But I will say this about the Lodge pan. Within a couple of rounds of cooking, it caught up with those polished pans. So our winner is by Smithy, and I think it's about $200 for a 12-inch pan that's almost identical in its size, shape, weight to the $40, $44 Lodge pan, which starts out a little bit rougher. But by the end of about 3 different things that I cooked, I started cooking scrambled eggs in the beginning and at the end of testing, and I made steak with French fries and I made cornbread and some other things in there. By the time I got to the second round of scrambled eggs, everything just came right up off that Lodge pan. It acquired seasoning so quickly and became just as nonstick as that polished pan. So my answer to you is not really worth it. I wondered about that. I was even thinking of doing it, and there are lots of YouTube videos about people polishing the inside of their Lodge pans. You don't need to do it. If you've got a really random cast iron pan that someone gave you and that's, very rough, sure, if you want to play around with that, fine. I say just cook in it and it will acquire seasoning and all those lumps and bumps will even out and the food will release. You just have to be a little bit more patient with a rougher pan. And in the case of the Lodge, that patience took about 2 or 3 rounds of cooking and that was it. I mean, I'm just talking like 2 or 3 recipes cooked in it and it caught up to the $200 polished pans. Those are the facts as I know them from having done the work. Do with that knowledge what you will. Can you guys do a video on proper cast iron storage? I'm having trouble with rust in my pans when they're being stored. Okay, first of all, that's because there's some moisture left in the pan or you live in a very humid place. You've got to do a little more diligence in drying the pan out when you're done with it. So when I'm cooking in my cast iron skillet, I take it right off the heat, let it cool for a minute or two, put it right under the hot tap with a brush and scrub it. Wipe it out dry, put it back on that same burner and let it heat through till it's quite warm again. Then I rub it with a few drops of oil and I almost rub that oil right back off again. So I get a very, very, very paper thin coat. So you can't, even if you were to run your fingers across, you wouldn't see grease on your fingertips. And then continue to let it heat on about a medium heat for a couple more minutes, because what you're trying to do is polymerize or bake on that oil so that the bonds, the molecules link and bond to the pan and make a natural nonstick coating. That's what seasoning is. So you want to get it real dry, you want to get it nice and warm, you want to put a very, very, very paper thin layer of oil, whisper thin layer of oil on there, wipe most of it back off again with a paper towel or dish towel, and then let it heat through again. And you'll find that that keeps it sealed and gets it nice and dry so it's not likely to rust. Or, you know, if you've ever had a pan that you've left too much oil in and it gets that gummy, tacky feeling, it's because you're not heating it again with the oil on it, because you want to polymerize, bond, and really coat that pan with a thin, thin, thin layer of oil. And that will make it seal. It will be making it a little bit more impervious to any kind of acidic cooking or anything that would penetrate that seasoning to get to the surface of the cast iron and let it rust. So hope that's helpful. And I hope that you have no more problems with your pans rusting in storage. I say the other solution to that is to cook with it all the time and then it's never really in storage. So it's not going to get a chance to rust. If it does rust, what you want to do also is just scrub that rust off with a little bit of steel wool. Don't go crazy. You know, just want to take off the rust a little bit. Rust is not going to hurt you. All that is iron. So if you take an iron supplement in your vitamin, that's the same thing. People who are a little bit low in iron actually do benefit from a little bit of the iron that they can pick up from cooking in cast iron. But yeah, rust is not harmful or toxic unless you're eating handfuls of it, which I don't know how you do that. And you just want to just clean that rust off. Don't go to town scrubbing it off because you'll be stripping off seasoning you have. It's just probably very surface. You can even probably just do it with the scrubby side of a brush, of sponge, and rinse it off, dry it really well, heat it up, oil it, wipe off most of the oil, heat it again, and then let it cool in place on that burner before you put it away. And that will get rid of the rust and give you a nice sealed layer on top and a nice light layer of seasoning that you're going to build on each time you cook. So, hope that's helpful, and we'll see you next time on Gearheads.